ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनं। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। 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 ॐ ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्। हरि ओं सुप्रभातम्। ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ विश्वं विष्णुर्वषट्कारो भूतभव्यभवत्प्रभुः भूतकृद्भूतभृद्भावो भूतात्मा भूतभावनः पूतात्मा परमात्मा च मुक्तानां परमागतिः अव्ययः पुरुषः साक्षी क्षेत्रज्ञोऽक्षर एव च योगो योगविदां नेता प्रधानपुरुषेश्वरः नारसिंहवपुः श्रीमान् केशवः पुरुषोत्तमः सर्वः शिवस्थाणुर्भूतादिर्निधिरव्ययः संभवो भावनो भर्ता प्रभवः प्रभुरीश्वरः स्वयंभू शम्भुरादित्यः पुष्कराक्षो महास्वनः अनादिनिधनो धाता विधाता धातुरुत्तमः. Yesterday we discussed on Swayambhuhu, the one who is self-created and not caused by any other force. These are the names in this shloka. Swayambhuhu, which we have discussed. Shambhuhu, Adityah, Pushkarakshah, Mahaswanah, Anadinidhanah, Dhata, Vidhata and Dhaturuttamaha. Now we take up Shambhuhu. Who is Shambhuhu? Many of us will definitely wonder why Shambhu came into Vishnu Sahasranama. Because Shambhu is the name of Shiva, according to our knowledge, as per our knowledge. Like how Shankara, Shambhuhu, we have that Ashtottara Shatanamavali and Stotram also. Shivo Maheshwara Shambhuv Pinaki Shashishekharah Vamadevo Virupakshash Kapardini Lalohitah Shankara Shula Panischa Katvangi Vishnu Vallabha. Shambhu Vishnu Vallabha, it is written. So according to that, Vishnu Vallabha means he who is dear to Vishnu. But here the very Vishnu's name itself is Shambhuhu. So we need to think how Shambhu can be a name of Vishnu. The explanation is Sham Sukham Bhaktanam Bhavati iti Shambhuhu. Sham Sukham. We can take this as individual words, or we can also take it as one word. One word means meaning together. Sham means auspiciousness, that which is good, that which is conducive, that which is pleasant, etc. And Sham is a word which is very commonly used in all our rituals also. Shanno mitra shamvarunaha, shanno bhavatvaryama, shanna indro brihaspatihi, shanno vishnururukramaha, namo brahmane, namaste vayo, ityadi shanti mantraha we have seen. And Sham, even in Rudra, Shancha me, mayascha me, first is Sham. So we will see this Sham auspiciousness. What is this auspiciousness? One meaning of auspiciousness is good. That is why all our activities whatsoever, we want to have the right result, appropriate result, optimum result. Therefore what we do? We check with probably a Purohit or a Panchanga what is the right moment, what is the right Muhurta, be it as big as a marriage or a Upanayana ceremony, or even small activities, Griha Pravesha for example. Or even there are some people who are so conscious about it, even to get out of the house for something, they check Rahu Kala, Gulige Kala, Yamaganda, etc., etc. They check. Why? Because they want to move out in an auspicious moment so that the end result will also be good. This is a common factor which we see commonly everywhere. This is one auspiciousness. Second auspiciousness is that auspicious moment which gives the right kind of thoughts in the mind. As it is said, we have told this earlier also, As the thoughts, so the mind. As the mind, so the man, woman included. Think. So the quality and texture of thoughts that we entertain decides the quality of actions that we perform. Auspicious time, auspicious thoughts, auspicious actions which will definitely give good result is what we always want. Incidentally, even the one who wants to do a bad activity will want a good result. Think. Even the one who performs a bad activity want a good result. Good meaning what? According to me, whatever is good, I want that. In fact, one step further, deeper, we perform some bad activities for the sake of gaining some good result, as though bad activities can never give good results. This is the psychology. I want good result meaning what? I want those results which are conducive to what I want, which are in line with what I want. Therefore, one is even ready to perform certain bad actions for the sake of gaining such results, which for oneself it may appear good, for oneself it may appear pleasant, for oneself it may appear entertaining, etc., etc., but it will definitely leave a bad result only, if not now, later. Karma will give karma phala. And looking at karma phala, certain karmas are done taking all these factors into consideration. One of them is auspiciousness. This is sham. And what does it give? Sukham. Auspiciousness is taken into consideration for what? Sukham. Good result meaning what? That which will give me sukham. That which will not give me sukham, normally we don't consider it as good result. Is it not? Though at a later date sometimes it may be good, for some other circumstances it may good, for some other context it may good, but what we want is what I want. Think. I want a result that I am working for, and I want that result for which I am working for. Think. If I don't get that result, I don't consider it to be good from my standpoint. Though many other people will say, doesn't matter, this is good, probably it happens good for us. But I won't accept it that way. Why do I not accept it? Because that particular result does not give me sukham. I want this particular result so that I will be happy. I will have comfort. I will have joy. So, however, sukham is the end result, and for sukham, I want an auspicious beginning or auspicious end also. Sham gives sukham. Auspiciousness will give sukham. Now, this another very interesting meaning. Auspiciousness is that which is good. It cannot go wrong. And therefore, the final destination, the final end result must be good only. Though in the process of its fructification, it might appear not good. But ultimately, it will reach to a good solution. Because, why? Because it is good. Because it is sham. Because it is auspicious. Therefore, sham can give only sukham. Sham sukham bhaktanam is a very, very interesting word. Bhaktana meaning among the devotees. Now, this has to be carefully understood. What is it understanding here? Devotees are those, all of us are devotees, okay. All of us are devotees. Everybody claim that I am a devotee. Think. All of us are bhaktas, yes. But what is this bhakti here referred to? Bhakti here is unconditional surrender and acceptance whatsoever at the feet of Bhagavan. To draw the same shloka again, Nanya spruha raghupate hridaye smadhiye satyam vadami cha bhavan akhilantaratma bhaktim prayaccha raghupungava nirbharame kamadi dosha rahitam kurumana sancha. Bhaktim prayaccha is the focus of the line. And what kind of bhakti? Nirbhara bhakti. Anyaha spruhaha asmadiye hridaye nasti. Satyam vadami. And I can't bluff. Why? Bhavan akhila antaratma. Where am I getting stuck? What is it that which is pulling down? What is it which is a hindrance, which obstructs me from that wonderful, joyous experience of bhakti is kamadi dosha. And kamadi dosha has been developed not now. It is not developed within 1 year or 10 years or this life. Think. Several thousands of lives. Manushyana, Allah, what is that word? Very beautiful word. So many lives, after so many lives, this Manushya Janma is given to us. And after so many lives, this Manushya Janma has come, and many of us, why most of us, waste that Janma in trying to get some petty, paltry pleasures here and there. And in that pleasures we get carried away and we lose the main track. Force of vasana, kama eshaha, krodha eshaha, rajoguna samudbhavaha, maha ashanaha, maha papma, evam vidhi vairinam iha. Krishna says, therefore, Bhagavan, the vasanas which I have created for several lives have become so strong that I am no more capable of holding them. I am no more capable of controlling them because I have become a slave to it. Therefore, it is only you who can take me away. Therefore, manasam cha kamadi dosha rahitam kuru is the call. And once that goes, mind is absolutely free. For what? To again serve Bhagavan, to again contemplate on Bhagavan, to again think about Bhagavan, reflect about Bhagavan and know his true nature, and then step again forward to understand that the true nature in me is nothing but the same as in Bhagavan. That is the highest pinnacle of all our purpose of life actually. Therefore, to gain that, I must become a bhakta. What kind of bhakta? The bhakta who is ready to surrender at the feet of Bhagavan, accept not only the supremacy of Bhagavan, accept one's own limitations also, understand one's own lacunae, understand one's own abilities to cross over, to grow out of, not get out of, but to grow out of such lacunae, and then reach his feet. Such a person alone can be called as bhakta, not a veshadhari. Udara nimittam bahukrita veshaha, it is said. That those people are not considered here as bhaktas only. They are all good actors at best. Bhakta is one who has unconditional surrender to his Ishtadevata. An unconditional surrender and acceptance. Acceptance, again, unconditional acceptance. Unjustified acceptance. Clarified. What? I have these lacuna. I need to get out of it. I have to surrender at the feet of the Lord. Lord alone is my abode. Not with the lip we say, but actually actually it must come from our own bosom. This ability to grow out of our limitations and surrender at the feet of the Lord, and at the same time be ready to accept everything. Be conscious, be alert, be vigilant, is called bhakti. Think. Bhakti is not sitting in one corner with all the Vesha, Bhusha, etc., Bhushana, etc., and then probably taking one symbol, Tala, and go on chanting. But the mind is elsewhere. Think. Bhakti is that alertness, that vigilance to handle our own mind and not allowing the mind to handle me. Bhaktanam sham sukham bhavayati. Bhavayati, the one who brings in, who blesses. With what? Sham sukham bhavayati iti shambhuhu. Then Param Pujya Gurudev beautifully adds these two words, inner goodness and outer prosperity. What a beautiful thing. This auspiciousness should develop inner goodness. What is this inner goodness? Goodness is not an expression, it should become an experience. And that should be my very nature. So goodness is not what I have, but I am. If this is understood, inner goodness is that by which I entertain beautiful quality and texture of thoughts. And quality and texture of thoughts inside. Not showing off outside. Inside. It should be my way of life. I must not consider, I must not entertain, even if bad thoughts come. Please note, all of us, every single one of us, including the greatest Santa Purusha of life, or to the last person, the worst of its kind. Everybody will have all the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, all the three of us have. All the three of them, all of us have. Now the point is that what is the difference between the Santa Purusha and a very bad person? The bad person wants to derive pleasure from all the three, and more often than not, the good will always have to wait for sukham. Please be careful in understanding. The good, Shreya Marga, always one has to wait for the good result. But that good result is permanent. Whereas in the Preya Marga, that is in the path of pleasure, good as though appears immediately. Instant pleasure, like our instant coffee. Think instant dosa mix. Immediate pleasure. But it comes with a package. It comes with a pinch of salt. Think. Even though they might have added preservatives, as though it cannot be preserved. Why? It is not original. Think. Pleasure is that which gives me instant, the normal language says instant kick, but it will kick you later. Think. All the instant pleasure which gives me a kick is only to kick me off later. But the good will always be good. Therefore, the inner goodness in me is derived out of my own decision. Please note. My own decision and discrimination to stick to the path of good and not stick to the path of pleasure. Shreyas alone can give me that inner poise. Shreyas alone can give me that inner quietude. Shreyas alone can give me that inner sukham. Whereas all others is enjoined with, is packed with fear, suffering, pain. Think. Whereas sham sukham abhayam pratishtham vindate athaso bhayam gato bhavati. One need not fear. Why? There is nothing that I have done for fearing, and anything that we do because of gaining some pleasure will always leave us with regrets, fear, guilt, etc. And therefore, that ability to cross over such desperate demand for pleasure and grow out of, it is not that all of us do, there are good people, they won't get all those thoughts. No. The ability to handle those quality of thoughts carefully and grow over to being good is sham sukham. Therefore, sham sukham bhaktanam bhavayati. Bhavayati meaning Bhagavan blesses us with such sukham among bhaktas. He is very careful. He says, if you come and surrender to me, I will take care. Ananyaha chintayantaha mam pariti yaha upasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam. Categorically. No compromise. No shady portion. Black and white, he says. You surrender and leave everything. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. You don't have to pay premium. Think. I will take care. But we don't have faith in Bhagavan. Why? Because Bhagavan is not pratyaksha pramana. Nobody has seen Bhagavan in front, tangibly. What we see tangibly is the sukham. Laukika sukham. Therefore, our mind runs behind laukika sukham, which is preyas, and we fail to understand Bhagavan's sukham, which is shreyas, and which is actually the purpose of life. Therefore, Bhagavan is categorical. I am ready to bless you. See, in the temples, Bhagavan is waiting, royally unemployed. Every temple, Bhagavan is standing or sitting and waiting. He is smiling. Every Bhagavan, every Vigraha you see, they are smiling. Smiling at what? Smiling at our own stupidity. Think. Therefore he says, you come, yaha pari upasate, tesham. You decide. You want my blessings? Conditions apply. You supply, I will give you. You be like that. So he says, Bhaktanam bhavayati iti shambhuhu. Immediately somebody will think, Swamiji, does it mean Bhagavan is also partial? No. Bhagavan is not partial. Bhagavan is not discriminative. We have gender discrimination, caste discrimination, so many other discrimination. Swamiji, Bhagavan is also part of this. He also has got discrimination. He has got the right discrimination. Think. You become eligible. How do I become eligible? By becoming the true bhakta. What is a true bhakta here? True bhakta is one who has completely accepted, completely surrendered, and who is very vigilant. Kham sukham bhaktanam bhavayati iti shambhuhu. And there another point here is, Shambhu or Vishnu in essence is one and the same. They are not different. They have taken the Rupa of Shiva for executing a particular portfolio. Vishnu Rupa is for executing a particular portfolio. Brahma Rupa, creator Brahma. Rupa is for execution. But all the three are what? Same essence. In a heater, electricity alone heats up. In a cooler, electricity alone cools. In both cooler as well as heater, energy is one and the same. Energy doesn't change. Think. In sound, there is energy. In light, there is energy. In fan, there is energy. All energy is expressing through different gadgets are one and the same. All energies expressing through different deities are one and the same. One step further, all that one energy, in fact, that one energy expressing through every Jiva Rashi is Bhagavan only. That is why Chandogya Upanishad says, Tattvamasi, you are that supreme. Now see, if we understand the truth that I am that supreme, the essence in me is that supreme. When I say it is not this individual ego, that essence which is the enlivener of this ego, that essence in all is one and the same. That supreme is you yourself, it says. All we need to understand is accept that reality and start experiencing Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam, which is the enlivening principle, that I am Atma Brahma. Think. The one who thus comes to understand that Parabrahma Swarupa, Paramatma is me alone, and all this individuality, etc., are Maya Kalpita. I have them, but I am different. If this is understood, the Sukha which is born from there is called Shambhu. Therefore, we ourselves can become Shambhu when we reach that state. Until then, until we reach that state of experience that I am Shambhu, I surrender to Aishta Devata, whoever may be, can be called Shambhu. Think. Sham Sukham Bhaktanam Bhavayati iti Shambhu. And once I am thus well conviction, with lot of good conviction, when I work that way, outer prosperity automatically comes. I will become efficient enough to function in the world outside, in my own karma kshetra, in my own dharma kshetra, and the end result is prosperity. And what is prosperity? Prosperity is not growth at the cost of others, but growth along with others. What a beautiful thought Gurudev has given. Outer prosperity. Normally prosperity is, if I have to gain 100 rupees, I have to cut from somebody else's pocket to gain that 100 rupees. This is the units. But here, outer prosperity is prosperity in me, and along with me, I also accommodate and carry people along to prosper further. See, one small word, Shambhu. Continuing, Adityaha. Adityaha, we all know Surya Bhagavan. But Surya Bhagavan is one entity. We will see. Aditya Mandalantastha. Look at that word. stha, meaning the one who is established as what? Hiranmayaha Purushaha. Purushaha, that supreme being, who is established as Hiranmayaha, the golden splendor. Hiranmayaha, where Aditya Mandalantaha. Mandala means what? There are so many suns in the universe. And Shastras say there are 12 suns. Dvadasha, what is that? Adityanam aham Vishnu, he says, and Aditya here is 12 in number. The Shastras say. Of course, it is always debatable because we go along with our own science. But how much science can understand is something which we have to scrutinize, because the limitations of external science, objective science, is quite high. Beyond, even though they may say this much of Milky Way, this much of space, this much of what is that word called, orbits, and so many things are there. All this they may give some number. And for every planet or satellite or some object in this space, they may say this is one particular, this one, and then they give a number to it. IP4SQ, all that something they will give. But they are all very, very limited as far as the Supreme is concerned. As far as the real creation is concerned. And among them, there are 12 Adityas, it is said. And among the 12, Hiranmayaha Purushaha Adityaha, the one who is the golden splendor, which means the brightest of all, is Adityaha. And that Adityaha, Adityanam aham Vishnu. The essence in all those Adityas is Vishnu, and that is Bhagavan, which is otherwise called Supreme. Pushkarakshaha. This is another very interesting nama. Akshaha means eyes. Pushkara means lotus. Very many of us may say, this Shastra has got stuck with lotus, Swamiji. For anything and everything lotus. For eyes lotus, face lotus, feet lotus, hands lotus, everything lotus, 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 as though no other flower is available. We had discussed this also earlier. Pushkarenopamite akshini yasya iti pushkarakshaha, whose eyes are like fully blossomed lotus. This is the meaning definition of Pushkaraksha. Now, Pushkara is the word which we need to understand. Why? Aksha we know, eyes. And Akshini, the one who has got such an eyes, yasya saha. Now, what is this Pushkara? What is this lotus? Why everywhere lotus is said? Lotus is a flower which does not get contaminated by any external aspect of this world. Even though it lives in the dirtiest water, the dirtiest water cannot dirty the lotus. Think. All of us know. Even when the rain comes, the rain water cannot drench the lotus leaf or the lotus. It remains as a small bindu, and you just tap it, pluck, it will go out. Even for overnight, you keep that water on the leaf, you create some, what is that? Object, let us say. And you create a hole like this, and you pour water. Overnight, why overnight? 1 month you keep it. Still water cannot drench the leaf. That is the quality of the lotus leaf. Lotus, Meenakshi, it is said. Meena Akshi, the one who has the eyes as beautiful as Meena. These are all great expressions. Here, lotus leaf is that expression which is given for Bhagavan to indicate Bhagavan is unaffected. Unaffected meaning what? He is never contaminated. He is the purest. Shuddha Chaitanya Vastu. Then, why Akshi should be taken? Because by seeing, he does not get affected. Whereas all of us, eyes are the main gadget we have. One, to experience this world outside. Two, easily fall prey. Eyes is a very, very, very important gadget. In the face, among all the sense organs, the most sensitive, most subtlest are the eyes. Therefore, we need to take care of the eyes so carefully. And very importantly, eyes get contaminated by what? By the mind. Mind actually gets contaminated through the eyes. What I see is interpreted by the mind. And that same mind creates desire to all those objects, forms and colors of the external world through the eyes. And please note, the most important thing is, eye is a very important organ which not only contaminates my thinking but also colors my thinking. A little subtler thinking. It colors my thinking based on my own raga dvesha. My raga to a certain thing increases the value of the thing in me, not in others. I define a value of a particular thing based on my raga or my dvesha. Like for example, a drunkard will have a great value for the liquor. But another person who is not a drunkard, but who is a chain smoker, will have greater value for the cigarettes than to the liquor. Why? He does not take liquor. Therefore, he has no value for that. He smokes. Therefore, cigarette packet will be more valuable to him than a liquor because he has nothing to do with it. And a samskari purusha, who is neither has the habit of liquor or the smoke, he may not have value for any of them. Probably he will have value for, like for example, a person like me, to bring myself in that place. I might have more value for flowers. Why? I love decoration to Bhagavan. So I will want to spend more money or etc. for flowers. Whereas the other person will say, ishtu hoovala haki waste madi, marne divsa adalla, it goes away. Next day it will go away. Aren't you wasting? That will be the other person's thought. Therefore, every person has set a value based on his or her own way of thinking. Valuation. Again based on what? My own quality and texture of thoughts. This vision, when it is changed to visualizing Bhagavan alone, that vision which wants to see only Bhagavan will not be contaminated by any other thing of life. Today anything and everything can draw me. we can get carried away for anything and everything. Why? Because our vision is at this level only. Our vision is at the level of pleasure only, at the level of prayers only, at the level of whims and fancies only. When I transport myself, when I move out of this prayers and set myself into Shreyas, which is Bhagavan, none of these can affect me. Think. They have no more value in my mind. This ability to move away, transform our mind and visualize, Acharya says in the Sadhana Panchakam, Bhavasukhe doshaha anusandhiyatam, Bhagavato bhakti dridhadiyatam, Dustarkat suviramyatam, Ekante sukhamasyatam. All these instructions for what? To develop the right vision, the right understanding, the right knowledge, and the right destination. This will happen only when I gain an ability not to get contaminated, and that is represented by lotus. Therefore, Pushkarenopamiti Akshini yasya saha yasya iti Pushkarakshaha, whose eyes are uncontaminated by the objective aspects of life, but who remains in the subjective being, which is Vishnu. We will continue tomorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.